This is, for me, an exciting topic. I used to work in the development field, and my father is an immigrant to Canada, built and sold homes. So housing has always been such a critical issue to me. I'm actually really happy to see that this is getting attention coast to coast in this election cycle. So perhaps I'll start with you, Dr. Davidoff. Why is housing featured so prominently in this election cycle? Why now?
Well, interest rates have come down dramatically during COVID, and people need more space. And because work from home is no fun when you're cramped. And so those factors have combined with the usual lots of immigration over time, challenging environment in which to get homes built. And so we've got too few homes for too many people at a time when there's unusually high demand among people for homes. And so, like in many jurisdictions and around the world, prices have really gone bananas lately, and they've gone bananas from a pretty bananas starting place. So affordability is a real challenge, particularly to come up with a down payment to buy.
Yes, and I think that's an interesting point to make, is that it already was quite a hot market. It was already quite heated. There was very low availability, high demand. Jason, out of Toronto, we've seen for the past number of years that the prices have just kept climbing. There hasn't been enough supply. For how many years do you feel that we have been, for lack of a better term, in a bubble or really in a crunch?
Well, certainly if you think back to, 2015, 2016, I mean, that's when, we really started to talk more and more about the need for supply and the lack of inventory, at least in the GTA marketplace. And I think it's fair to say in the Vancouver context as well, where, we're continuing to see the population grow. We're seeing people move into, Canada's major metropolitan areas from all around the world. And obviously these people needed a place to live, whether you're talking about the rental market or the home ownership market. And, back in 15 and 16, we were talking about, more demand side policies. So whether we were talking about, foreign buyers tax or looking at speculation, or we saw obviously changes to mortgage lending rules. And those had a short-term effect, those policy changes, and we did see a pullback in the market as a result of those. But lo and behold, here we are talking about a federal election and talking about policies within that context, and we're still seeing the very strong competition between would-be home buyers and very strong upward pressure on home prices, because we haven't got to the root of the problem, and that's finding a way to bring on more housing in the aggregate. Right. But also a greater diversity of home types. So, bridging that gap between single family homes in the traditional sense and condominium apartments. And that would give people the ability to move through the housing continuum on an affordable basis over time. And so, while it's good to see, all the major parties vying for office in this election, talking about housing supply, I think what will be interesting moving forward is also understanding, how the government at the federal level is going to collaborate with governments at the provincial and local level, where the rubber really hits the road when you're talking about,
right,
the development of housing. And, we have provincial and local elections, at least in Ontario, coming up over the next year as well.
Okay, well, we're going to pick up this discussion right when we return.